Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, and today I'm making something I make every holiday season, and that's Cranberry Orange Nut Bread. It's absolutely delicious, and it also makes a really great homemade gift. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, and let's get baking. You talk about a tried and true recipe, this is it. When I was a kid, my mom used to make this every single Christmas, and she used to bake a bunch of loaves in these cans, so they came out like these little logs that you would slice into these pretty little circles. Now, I'm just using a regular loaf pan, but everything else, I follow this recipe to a T. Here's what you're going to need. 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 cup sugar, a teaspoon and a half baking powder, half a teaspoon baking soda, half a teaspoon sugar. You're going to need a whole orange. We're going to be using the rind and the juice, so make sure you get a good one. 1 egg, about a cup diced raw cranberries, 1 cup chopped pecans, and we're also going to be needing some boiling water. I put this out here to remind me, but I'm going to go ahead and get that later. And then a couple of tablespoons of cooking oil. So let's get started. I'm first going to sift together all the dry ingredients into a large mixing bowl, starting with the flour. I'll add the sugar, the baking powder, the baking soda, and the salt, and make sure it's all mixed well, and then I'll set it aside. Now I'm going to grate the orange rind. We'll be using every bit of zest from it, so I'll make sure not to leave any behind. As I do this, I want to tell you a little bit more about this recipe because I realize that I talk about my mom a whole lot, but that's because all while I was growing up, my mom attended what was called Homemakers College with New Mexico State University's extension program. And as part of that, she worked as a nutrition aide, teaching not just 4-H youth groups, but also adult nutrition education classes. So I have many memories of going with her into homes where she would teach the underprivileged how to cook nutritious meals on a tight budget. And she had stacks and stacks of recipes that she would try out on us at home first. And this is one of those recipes. In fact, you can see where it's dated 1971. And I love that I have copies of those today and I still get to use them. I think I got it all there. Now I can cut the orange in half and squeeze out all the juice. I'll set the orange juice aside. Then I'm going to take the fresh cranberry and get it all chopped up. And you can do this in a food processor or in a blender. At this point, I'm kind of guessing the amount. The recipe calls for 1 cup once it's all chopped. That looks good there. And this should be close. I'll put it into a measuring cup, kind of press down, and as you can see, I'm going with a heaping cup. I'll go ahead and set this aside as well. Next, I'm going to take a measuring cup and add the 2 tablespoons of oil into it. Then I'm going to take the boiling water and pour just enough in there to bring it up to the 3/4 cup mark. The reason we're using boiling water is so that the water and oil don't separate after mixing. Now I'll beat the egg in a small to medium-sized bowl and then mix together all the other liquids, which include the oil and water and the orange juice. I'll give it a good stir and then pour the liquids into the dry ingredients. I'll toss in the grated orange rind and then mix it all up. At this point, you want to make sure that your oven is preheating, because we're getting close. I'm setting it to 325 degrees. Then I can go back and fold in the diced raw cranberries and the chopped pecans. Once it's fully mixed, I'm going to pour the batter into a greased loaf pan. It's looking colorful. I've made this recipe enough times to know that it's actually a little more batter than this loaf pan holds. So I always fill it about 3/4 of the way, and then I make a much smaller loaf with the leftover batter, and it works out perfectly. But of course, this will vary depending on your baking dish. Now it bakes for anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour, so keep an eye on it. It should be golden brown, and when you insert a toothpick, it should come out clean. This one's done. And so's that one. These are all done, and while I can't wait to cut into them, they really do need to cool completely. In fact, it's recommended that you wait 24 hours before you serve them. Ooh, that's hot. They'll slice better once they've cooled, and believe me, it's just worth the wait. This cranberry orange nut bread has this wonderful combination of sweetness and tartness. The fresh cranberry and the citrus from the orange really come through. Then, of course, you've got the pecans adding this nuttiness and texture. I really think you're going to love not just how it tastes, but how colorful and festive it looks. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and click the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I post one new recipe every week. You can also follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.